Oh, hello everyone. Hello, gorgeous, gorgeous darlings. You are here again on Wednesdays with Wallis, Psychic Medium. Welcome, welcome. Now, I've got a bit to get through, and so I better get on with it, not dilly-dally too much today. So I want to start with, some shout-outs because I like to do that. I like to, welcome people and say hello because I do read, as I said, all of your comments. And this week I want to give a shout out and a hello to Diane. Hello, Diane. Chris, you were talking about from memory because I wrote myself some little notes here. You were talking about not feeling that you're meant to be here and not feeling that, you were ever meant to be here, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, I'm going to make another suggestion, darling. I'm going to say to you that absolutely you were meant to be here or you wouldn't be. So let's get that out of the way. You are absolutely, Chris, meant to be here or you wouldn't be. Okay, now I want to settle on that. The thing that's causing you angst and anxiety is that what can I say to you? You've come to overcome that. That's basically it. You're meant to be here, and you're also meant to be here to overcome. God, it's pain, isn't it? Oh, darling, it's such a pain. You are meant to be here and you're meant to also be, overcoming all of that angst about you don't fit in and I don't feel right and I never feel like I was meant to be here in the first place, etc., etc., etc. So when you came and your soul incarnated into this lifetime, you came with all that angst. So my suggestion, settle in, forget about all that, tell yourself you're meant to be here, why are you here, and what can you do? And maybe there's more people around you who are feeling that way, and if you said you've met some kindred spirits, are they feeling that way at all and you're feeling better about yourself because you're all in the same boat, paddling the same boat? That often happens, okay? Don't want to get into a great big thing around it, but I get where you're coming from and I get what you're saying. Nick, House of Prayer, thank you, darling. Thank you, thank you. You're here every week and I so, so appreciate your support. And I'm giving you a big shout out, darling. Hello to Kathy, Harold, and Karina, and Mary from Southern California. Hello to you too. Just want to answer you, Ingie, I think it is. I don't know whether I'm saying that right, but if I'm not, darling, you can forgive me for that. But I know you inquired about your reading, and my team and I, especially the team, because I've got to delegate some things, otherwise I never damn will get through them all. So they've been trying to contact you and sort out a date with you. So can you, if you get an email from them, please just answer it and let's sort a date out for you to have that reading that we missed out on. And by the way, I was there and I waited 15 minutes. So anyway, I don't know what went wrong. I don't know what happened, but we're going to get to it, darling. We will. Tolly, you mentioned about blocks holding you back. They're not, darling. The blocks aren't holding you back. You're holding yourself back. Okay? Don't blame the blocks. We hold ourselves back and we ask questions about, do I have any blocks? Blocks holding me back or block, et cetera, et cetera. The question to ask yourself, are you living the life? This is the question I want you to ask yourself, Tolly. Are you living a joyous and fabulous life? Are you? Because if you're not, well then yes, you've got some blockages, some things, something that's standing in the way of that, and, you know, putting up a big stop sign like, stop, stop, sorry, no joy, no amazing life here today, buzz off. I'm feeling a bit in that mood today, darling, so you might get more of that along the way. Don't listen to it, darling. Don't listen to it. Seek out, be joyous, okay? Choose to be joyous. Choose to live a joyous life. Now, none of this, to any of you, if you're all listening to this, none of this is difficult. You know why it's not difficult? Because you simply have to say no. Say no. If it doesn't fit, no. Will this give me joy? No. Okay. No. Yeah. Buzz off. Will it give me joy? Yes. Okay. I'll have that. More of the same. Get this? It's up to you, darlings. If you don't want something, knock it back. Just no. If it's not going to make you joyous, if it's not going to fulfill you, if it's not going to fit into the tick box, give yourself a little tick box. Take a little look at it. Does it fit this? No. Well, don't do it. Okay. All right. Martin, UK. Thank you, darling. Thank you, Martin. It's wonderful of you. You keep turning up, and I love it. Thank you for supporting me, and thank you for being here. Now, special thank you this week to Mandy, who had a reading with me last Friday, my time here in Australia, and it was fabulous. It was fabulous. I thought it was fabulous. I think Mandy thought it was fabulous, and she's from Cornwall in England, and I do love Cornwall, and she's got this fabulous countryside around her and this wonderful spiritual space, and good for you, Mandy, and big shout out to you, darling. So that's the people on the list that I have shouted out to this week. Now, the topic for this week, I didn't tell you up front, the topic. Oh, here I go. You ready? Trump and women voters. This is for you in the US and probably the rest of us that have got any interest in democracy and what's going on in the world, because it's a world crisis, not just for America. It's a crisis in a lot of places. About this whole thing about democracy and keeping our freedom. Remember, I talked last week about those things, and incidentally, probably didn't go down too well. It probably went down a bit like a lead balloon. Not to you beautiful darlings that commented and everything, but in general, people weren't, I don't think, that interested in coming over and having a little listen to what I had to say. But anyway, this week I'm going to do a reading in a little while about Trump and women voters and around Biden's age. I'm going to say something around Biden's age. Now, before I get to that, as promised from last week, because I made a real mess of it, and I'm going back to my notes for you gorgeous people, ruling number 11s. I didn't do a thing with you guys last week. I started and then lost my notes I had up here and made a muck of the whole thing, but I'm going to bring it home this week for you, darlings. So if you're ruling number 11, and I knew this, and I think I may have said it, but I can't remember whether I did or I didn't, but you ruling 11s, you do have a high level of spirituality that surrounds the number 11 and the 22s, but we'll talk about those another time. And it's a unique potential for developing the awareness of your higher self. Now, you get this. I hope you're listening up, you 11s, because a lot of you, which you're going to find out in a minute, missed the mark. You've lost the plot. You've missed it. And so I'm going to have a little read of this, and I've written it down in quite depth. for you. So it's a really good number for developing the awareness of the higher self. And as I said, unfortunately, you know, a lot of you fail to live up to it. Oh, ouch. Um, you just don't develop it. It's changing. We do have a change happening with this new age of enlightenment, I'm going to call it, this this more opening of our spirituality and coming to people like me, places like YouTube and where I'm at, delivering this, you know, contorted sometimes message of mine to you wonderful people out there. But ruling number 11s, there's a lot less of them than a lot of the other numbers. So, but they certainly proliferate in domains where personal growth and spiritual upliftment predominate. And they'll be listening to this that I'm talking about. So I know there were a number of you number 11s that had tuned in a couple of weeks ago and given me a number. Now, that's a 29 and a 38. So only 29 and 38s are ruling numbers 11. There will be an occasional birth date that totals a 47, and that is an 11, of course, but, you know, they're more rare than anything else. And, you know, you ruling number 11s are really, you know, you're some of the few people who are really potentially best equipped to guide humanity into the emerging age of awareness. Will you do it? Some of you will. A lot of you won't. It's a very, very responsible incarnation that you chose, and you did choose it. But unfortunately, when you get here and you then become a human or a spiritual being having a human experience, you then get caught up in the humanness of everything, and you get diverted from your higher purpose. But as I said, the tide's changing, and you know, things are changing. I think COVID helped that along a lot. So some of you 11s are now, you know, looking at, you know, things a little differently than what you did before that. And it's a complex thing. And we might talk about this when I do my, or we will when I do my workshop on numerology. But anyway, that's another time. You are lovers of refinement, beauty, and the cultural values of life. You love all that. You naturally gravitate towards such an environment because it liberates you, and you get to, you know, express your innate beauty and your spirituality. But your material life can be very, very demanding, and to be perfectly honest with you, uninteresting. Um, and I say uninteresting unless you, and we won't talk about that today, it's a bit more complex, but it's all about your day number and those sorts of things. But you are given to peer group pressure, and one of your big learning things is balance. You have to learn to balance all these things, and this seemingly noble virtue of yours, which is about spirituality and, you know, being here to help the planet and evolve the planet and the inhabitants of the planet. So having said that, then, you know, I'm going to just flip through my notes here and say that you're probably currently involved in commerce or something like that. I'm just reading my notes very quickly. But you have to learn to follow your intuition. You have to, you know, do something with that. And so in summary, you're sensitive, you're feeling, and you're caring people, and you love refinement. beauty and everything with a depth of cultural substance, and you're intensely honest and compassionate, often preferring to avoid the life of hard business. And you're not great, sorry, darling, you're usually not great money managers, but your best vocations are educators, social workers, and religious leaders, personal growth instructors, and you can teach cultural subjects. Um, um, so you, whatever you do, it has to have some underlying moral values, darling, because 11s can get off track. Famous ruling 11s are Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart and Prince Charles. He's ruling number 11. Anthony Newley, Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis, Tony Bennett, Sir Edmund Hillary, John Glenn, and Eartha Kitt are all ruling 11s. Does that say a little bit more about it? Now, put my notes aside because I've done that and I've done the hello thing. Let me get my cards out. This week, there was a lady last week who said to me, and you were right, darling, you were absolutely right. I just want to tell you you're right, that I was uptight, or I seemed to be a bit distracted and uptight. And I was, because, pardon me, it was one of those weeks when, you know, everything that can go wrong goes wrong. You ever had any of those? If you've had any of those, drop a comment in the box, because I'd love to hear from you. I'd like to know that I'm not, paddling my own proverbial canoe, and nobody else is, being affected by similar things. The card that threw itself out here was activating awareness. I'm going to read that around this whole thing about Trump and women voters, and I've pulled that out first. Not surprising it came, because there's been, there's another one. They're throwing them at me. Okay, White Buffalo Wisdom. I may have to have a little read from my little book to you on that one, because I actually channeled these cards. These are my Soul Wisdom Oracle cards, and I channeled them, and I read off the energies of them, but I don't always remember word for word. So I think that perhaps I'll just read off the energies of them, and we won't get into reading them verbatim off the book or the guidebook. Incidentally, talking about the guidebook, before I get into this, it's almost ready to be uploaded to Kindle, so you'll be able to get hold of the Soul Wisdom book with the cards in it, and that'll be really reasonably inexpensive. In fact, I think it'll be cheap on Kindle. I'm sure it will be, and you'll be able to download that very soon. Next week, I'll be able to tell you when it was released. But over this next week, it'll be released. It'll be on Kindle, and it'll be up on our website. So keep checking in to have a look, because it will be up and it will be released. And if you're looking at us on social media, I'll also be putting it out on social media. So here we go. Let's take a look at Trump and women voters. That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at Trump and women voters. Oh, dear. That's very interesting. I'm going to show you a card in a minute. Make of it what you will. But it's a card called Vibration Energy. What does it look like? I'll leave it up to you. But to me, when I pick it up and look at it, because of the way that it is, I hope you can see it, it looks like the woman is expecting. Looks like she's pregnant. Spiritual beingness is this card here. And this one here is about myth. So I'm going to read from left to right, and then I'm going to bring in these other two cards that fell out. So what I'm going to read around these are this whole area of myth is storytelling. So I don't think any of us women, this is about we as women, okay? This is about storytelling. So be careful, be careful, be careful, be careful of the stories that are being told. Storytelling, porky pies involved in the storytelling is what's coming to me. So rather than give it a big hoo-ha and say the person's lying, I'm going to say there's a lot of porky pies going on around stuff that's been said. So I want you to realise that there's a lot of stuff being said that is myth. Okay, it's myth. It's nonsense. Spiritual beingness is a wonderful card because it is about your growth, your enlightenment, and your spiritual beingness. And our spiritual beingness cannot grow when it's been stifled. Okay, cannot grow when it's been stifled, darlings. So be very, very careful. Be very careful. What am I getting? I'm getting a vision of, be careful what what you tie yourself to. Be careful what you hook up to. Be careful. Be mindful. Be present. Okay, I want to give you those things. It's very, very important. Spiritual beingness. The card sitting under it is the mask. And of course, I'm sorry, darlings, but the person, this Trump person, is wearing a mask. It's not rocket science, is it? He's wearing a mask. Now, whether you know that, whether you realise that, or whether you don't, does not matter. Matters nothing, okay? I want you to know that. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to you. It matters nothing other than it's a fact. He is. He's wearing a mask. So if you can't see through the mask right now, I want you to give yourself a bit of space and time, darlings. Spiritual beingness is about your growth as a spiritual being and everything you do. We talked a few minutes ago, I was talking to someone about them having and being, holding on to things. Don't hold on to things. You need to, this card is about your growth. If you're not in an environment, you've got to be in an environment where you allow yourself to grow. Okay? I want you, all you gorgeous women, I want you to think about having a little tick box. Okay? You've got to have a little tick box and you can tick it off because this is about, will this decision over here allow me my spiritual growth? Will it allow me to grow spiritually? So I want you to ask yourself that. So when you think about going to your polls, doing your voting, doing things, will your decision allow you to grow spiritually? Will it allow you the space for that? Or is somebody going to take that from you and stifle it? Okay, love, love, love the card I pulled out that looks like a pregnant woman. It looks like a woman who's expecting. And this card is about vibrational energy. And this is about women. This card is all about, it's all about you. It's all about freedom. It's all about the freedom to take care of you, your body, you, darlings, you're the most important person. And I'm getting such a strong thing on it today. I'm getting such strong feedback from them. I'm having to bite my tongue. I think that, inner wisdom, this is about your inner wisdom. All of us women have earned our right. We've earned the right to be who we are and what we're about, and to make the choice for us. And I want you to make the choice for you, your body, your life, your wellness, your sovereignty, your freedom, your better beingness. Just ask yourself the question. That's all I'm saying to you. Just say, will I be free to pursue what it is in life that I want? The activating awareness card is that there is no better time than right now for awareness. I'm actually feeling quite sick. I'm feeling sicky in my tummy. I get this. I get this going when I'm emotionally overwhelmed by a situation and by what they're telling me and by what's going on. I'm there for each and every one of you. And I want you to stand up for you. Will you do that for me? I want you to stand up for you. And I don't want some nitwit telling you what you should and shouldn't do and trying to tell you some porcupines around things. Leading you along, making out it's all about a whole bunch of other stuff. No, it isn't. And we all need one another, and we all live in a world where we need to be in this world. This is a world. You're not isolated. None of us are isolated. We all have to band together, and we have to have our say, and we have to protect one another, and we have to move forward on a very, very solid base. And it's your opportunity to have your say and to move forward on that base. And you will. I believe you will. I believe that this whole thing around, this fellow Trump and you wonderful, wonderful women in America, have your say. That's all I ask. Now, before I go, I want to have a little thing here. I'm going to pull out a couple of cards, but it's more about what they're giving me and what's going to come through on this, because I want to talk about, just for a few minutes, not too long, probably, it's 5 minutes maybe. I'm shuffling the cards up, and I might pull some of the others out over top of it. But, one of the big things, and gee, it irks me, I'm telling you, loves, it irks me. I'm going to tell you that it pees me off, and it bloody irks me when people go on about age. We're all forgetful. Everybody's forgetful. Biden, the poor man, early on, he had a couple of aneurysms in his life. He's lost some of his family. He had, he overcome a stutter. He walks a bit stiff-legged. Yeah, so do I, Dales. I had a knee replacement a while ago. I walk a bit bloody stiff-legged too. But I wouldn't want any bugger telling me that I'm bloody stupid or I'm too bloody old, because that would really piss me off. So you can get me going over stuff like that, because I think it's not good to single out age. I think we have a lot to bring to the table as we get older, and I think it's wonderful. And, I want to say this about this fellow Biden. I want to say this about him. He's not on his own. that role. It's like CEOs of big companies. They're not on their own. You think they're making all the decisions? No, they're not. Good, bad, or indifferent, they're not making them all, Dale. That's interesting that this came out again. This one about women and their rights. Listen up, people, listen up. This card came out again, and the one immediately under it was exactly the same card. Something going on there. Listen up to this. Okay, butterfly spirit came out around him, and I believe this is him. I believe there's an emergence within him. He's coming out of his shell a bit. I've watched a few things of his, and I reckon that State of the Union address, I think you'd call it, that's what he did. I thought that was bloody great, and I don't care how old you are. I reckon he delivered something really fabulous there. Ageism is a terrible thing, and we can't allow it. And the question is not what he'll be doing in 4 years' time. The question is now. The question is now reserving your and protecting your freedom, protecting democracy. That's your job. That's your job right now. And the reason I'm saying that is because that is going to protect your freedom, your right to experience your spiritual involvement and your spirituality and your own personal growth, the sovereignty of things, freedom to say things, and your democracy, which means the freedom to do things. It's one of the things I like about living in my country, is regardless of all the ups and downs we have from time to time, we have a democracy in place, and we're free to pursue things. I'm free to be on here and say the things that I want to say. So don't worry about this person. I think he's doing a great job for anyone, at any age. And I think he's got other people behind him who are younger. And none of us, I don't even do what I'm doing by myself. I have a couple of wonderful people around me who help. I have a fabulous virtual assistant, personal virtual assistant, who takes care of a heap of things for me. If I didn't have all those things, I'd be buggered. And there's times when I forget what I'm going to say, and but that doesn't make me a nincompoop, and it doesn't make me incapable of doing things that I want to do. And it's certainly right now, if I was running a country, it wouldn't make me incapable of running a country, just because I forget a few things and I might trip up the bloody stairs, and it's crap. It's crap. I want you to get on with it. I'm a little bit anxious this week because I'm getting a bit, I'm trying not to, but I'm getting a little bit anxious about everything that's going on in the world. Take a deep breath. I'm getting a little bit anxious about us being able to see our way through that in a positive and uplifting way, and not get dragged down by it, because it's easy for us to be dragged down by all the nonsense and all the stuff that's going on. I don't want you to do that. Remember, whatever goes on around you, darlings, you, if you knew how powerful you are, if you knew how brilliant you are, if you knew how amazing you are, you wouldn't let any of this shake you up or get you off your game. And I've got to remind myself of that too, because I'm, paddling the same boat. at times I get overwhelmed and feel overwhelmed, especially when I get lots and lots of stuff coming at me, and then I have to sort of almost cherry pick some of the information and some of the things, and I never know what I'm going to say, darlings. I just simply get on here and away I go, and blab it all out. But I do want you wonderful, wonderful women to know how powerful you are, and to hold on to it. Hold on to your power. Hang on to who you are. Hold on to your freedom. Hold on to it all. It's most important to hang on to it all, regardless of anything that's being said, who's saying things, who's dragging who into the mud pile, who's doing what. You know what you're about. It's been a little bit solemn this week, isn't it? I didn't want it to be like that, darlings, but I do want to bring forward this whole issue around things that are being said, and integrity. That's the word I'm going to leave you with. Integrity. Integrity. You can argue that till the cows come home. But the person who's putting himself up there to run as president of the United States of America, and I've always thought that was something that was held in high esteem. I've come to think less of it, but I've thought as an Australian that to be the president of the United States was something that had integrity around it, and that there's always politics. I have been involved in politics myself many, many years ago. I get it. I'm not going to go down that track, but the bottom line is that the person who's touting himself to be, running for president of the United States with all those other people behind him, who are not behind him, incidentally, is out of integrity. I'm sorry. Too much there out of integrity. I'm going to leave you with it. Not saying any more because I'm getting into the politics of stuff, and I don't want to do that. I just want to be here for you and all of you wonderful, wonderful women and men. I have a few men who follow me, but all of you wonderful women and all of those wonderful men who support you wonderful women. And that's really, really important, because there's a lot of wonderful, wonderful men who are incredibly supportive of wonderful, wonderful women. Mwah, darlings, enjoy your week. Have a good time. I'll see you Wednesdays with Wallis Psychic Medium next week. Who knows what'll come. And you have the best week and enjoy it. Mwah. Bye for now.